Hollywood's golden age was built on magic, the kind that didn't just happen on the silver screen. The studios didn't only create stories, they manufactured stars. Every detail was sculpted to perfection, from the tailored suits to the lighting that flattered every angle. And in some cases, even the hair on their heads wasn't real. Behind the flawless close-ups, some of the most beloved leading men were bald or balding, kept camera-ready thanks to the quiet genius of master wig makers. These hairpieces weren't occasional props for a role, they were daily essentials, protected by ironclad studio secrecy. Contracts had clauses, stylists traveled with actors, and photographers who caught an unapproved shot could find themselves blacklisted. Today, we're lifting the curtain on 15 iconic stars whose perfect locks were pure Hollywood illusion. Number 15, Humphrey Bogart. The tough guy image, the trench coat, the slicked-back hair, Bogart's look was as iconic as his voice. But by his early 30s, Bogey was losing his hair fast. When High Sierra and the Maltese Falcon made him a star in 1941, the studio panicked. His hairline became a full-time production problem. Cinematographers devised special lighting to hide the hairpiece's edges, and Bogart himself would subtly shift positions to keep his angles safe. Lauren Bacall later revealed he almost never removed the toupee in public. The only exception was when swimming, and even then, only far from cameras. Even in the hospital during his final illness, he insisted it be positioned just right. To the world, he was the picture of masculine confidence. Privately, this was his most guarded vulnerability. Number 14, Fred Astaire. Every tap, every glide, every turn, Fred Astaire's hair never moved. That's because it wasn't just hair. He'd been wearing a custom piece since his late 20s. Astaire's performances demanded a solution that could survive sweat, spins, even dancing upside down. With Max Factor's help, his stylists created a silk-based toupee with an adhesive strong enough for the most grueling numbers. He kept several identical versions, all maintained by trusted hands. Ginger Rogers once joked she had to remember not to run her fingers through his hair during romantic scenes. Fred would never forgive me if I disturbed his little friend. Number 13, John Wayne. The Duke, the embodiment of rugged Western masculinity, had been losing hair since the 1930s. By the time Stagecoach made him a star, his hairline was heading for the sunset. His toupees were intentionally styled to look windblown, befitting a cowboy who spent his life outdoors. On set, he even wore a bandana under his hat during riding scenes to keep it secure. He treated the piece with no more vanity than a gun belt, though he admitted, "This thing's hotter than a tin roof in August." But the ladies seem to like it, so it stays. Number 12, Cary Grant. Polished, elegant, effortlessly charming, Cary Grant was Hollywood's ideal leading man. But in his mid-30s, hair loss threatened that image. His toupees were the finest money could buy, each strand knotted by hand into an almost invisible base. He had different styles for different roles, allowing them to age naturally over time so the illusion never broke. Hitchcock recalled Cary calling it therapy for a traumatic condition, not vanity but business. The public pays to see Cary Grant, not a bald man they don't recognize. Number 11, James Stewart. Jimmy Stewart built his career on authenticity. Early on, he let his hair thin naturally. Audiences saw his receding hairline in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and It's a Wonderful Life. But by his 40s, roles demanded fuller coverage. His toupees were intentionally imperfect, a little messy, in keeping with his everyman charm. It was just another part of the costume, one director remembered. And as he aged, he allowed them to gray and thin just like real hair. Number 10, Frank Sinatra. Blue Eyes reinvented himself in the 1950s, but by then, his hair was fading. His toupee became an open secret among the Rat Pack. Dean Martin would make sly jokes on stage, and Sinatra sometimes used it as a prop in private. He traveled with multiple versions, stage, film, and casual wear. His valet said it was as essential to his look as his cufflinks. "He wore the hairpiece," Tony Bennett once said. The hairpiece didn't wear him. Number 9, Burt Lancaster. The The former acrobat was known for physical, swashbuckling roles, and his hairpieces had to be as athletic as he was. Special adhesives kept them in place through sword fights, rope swings, and tumbles. Lancaster treated them with total professionalism, joking with Kirk Douglas that his extra help up top gave him an unfair advantage with women. Number 8. William Holden. By the time Stalag 17 earned him an Oscar, Holden's toupee was a regular part of his wardrobe. He disliked wearing it in private and sometimes let his discomfort show on location shoots, like in the humid jungles of the bridge on the River Kwai where eagle-eyed viewers can spot inconsistencies. Number 7. Spencer Tracy. Known as one of cinema's most natural actors, Tracy began wearing hairpieces in his 50s, but they were designed to look like slightly thinning hair, keeping the change subtle. He only felt comfortable removing it around Katharine Hepburn, calling it this damn thing but knowing it kept him working. Number 6. Robert Taylor. MGM didn't wait for Robert Taylor to go bald. They started enhancing his hair in his early 30s. His hairpieces evolved with the times, from the perfect romantic lead style of the 1930s to a more rugged look in the post-war years. For MGM, his hair was a valuable studio asset. Number 5. Bob Hope. For decades, Bob Hope looked exactly the same, thanks to a perfectly maintained hairpiece. Unlike others, he sometimes used it for laughs in private troupe shows. His stylist kept a rotation of identical pieces so his image never changed, even into his 90s. Number 4. Yul Brynner. King of Siam made bald beautiful. Brynner actually had some hair but shaved it for The King and I, realizing the look made him unforgettable. Ironically, he sometimes had to wear wigs for roles that required hair, treating them like any other costume. Number 3. Sean Connery. By his mid-20s, Connery's hair was already gone. As James Bond, the toupee was non-negotiable, as iconic as the Aston Martin. But in the 1970s, he abandoned it for most roles, embracing baldness and proving you could still be a sex symbol without hair. Number 2. Douglas Fairbanks Jr. The swashbuckler approached hairpieces like fine tailoring, top quality, perfectly maintained, never discussed. His pieces aged gracefully with him, enhancing his aristocratic image without pretending he hadn't grown older. Number 1. Cesar Romero. The Latin lover of the 1930s and the Joker of the 1960s wore his hairpieces openly on set, sometimes adjusting them mid-scene. By his later years, the toupee was almost a character in itself, a theatrical flourish audiences had come to expect. In the Golden Age, hairpieces were more than vanity. They were essential tools in creating the illusion that these men were ageless, untouchable, and larger than life. The artistry of wig makers kept fans believing, and the code of silence from the press ensured the magic stayed intact. Which of these stars shocked you the most? Had you ever suspected your favorite classic film hero was wearing a wig all along? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. In the end, the hair didn't make the man, the performance did. As Fred Astaire once told a young actor, "They won't remember if you had hair. They'll remember if you could dance."